Hi and welcome to 5-Minute Statistics for Clinical Research. My name is Caroline Herborn and I am part of the biostatistics team at GCP Service International. When biostatisticians present data, there are several parameters that are used to describe the distribution of this data. In today's video, we want to discuss what these parameters are and what they really show. When presenting the data descriptively, the distribution of single variables can include the following parameters: scatter parameters such as the mean, median, and mode; dispersion parameters, which are the range, quartiles, variance, and standard deviation; and to define the shape of the distribution, also skewness and quartiles. So where can we find the scatter parameters mean, median, and mode? The mean is a parameter that has to be calculated. Let's assume we have 12 patients in our study with the following weights. The mean is calculated by summing all weights and dividing the sum by the number of patients, in this case 12. So we end up with 68.75 kilos on average. The median is simply the value that is the middle of the sequence of values, ordered by size. In this example, we have 12 values. Here we take the average of the middle two values and end up with 63. The mode, on the other hand, is the value which occurs most often in the data. Since we have all values occurring only once except the value 61, this is the mode. So these three aspects give us a good impression of the average participant, but we don't know yet how the data is spread. To have a better overview of how the data is spread, we can take a look at the dispersion parameters. What is the range of a distribution? It simply states between which minimum and maximum the values in our sample group are distributed. In our example, the range would be from 49 to 92 kilos. The quartiles, referred to as Q1, Q2, and Q3, are the values below which 25, 50, or 75% of the data is found. In our case, that would be 56, 61, and 80 kilos respectively. A measure for the diversity in weights in our sample is the variance, which indicates how far from the mean value the data is dispersed on average. It is calculated by dividing the sum of differences between the measured value and the mean by the number of patients, in this case 182.35. But usually what is used when presenting data is the standard deviation, which is simply the square root of the variance. It tells you how large the dispersion of the individual observation from the mean is, in this case 13.5 kilos. With all of this information, we have some idea of the spread of the data, but we still don't know exactly how the distribution of the data looks like. This can be solved by looking at the shape parameters. The skewness of a distribution curve gives an indication of how similar the curve looks like to the left and right from the mean value. In our example, you can see that there are more patients who weigh less than the average person than there are patients that weigh more. The distribution is therefore shifted towards the left. The right tail of the distribution curve is longer, which is why it is called right skewed or right tailed. Of course, this can occur for the left side as well. A skew occurs when there are extreme values on one end of the curve, either on the higher or lower end. In these cases, describing the data using the median may be better than using the mean. This leaves us with the last aspect, the quartiles. The quartiles describes how closely a distribution resembles a normal distribution. Important to know for now is that each value being observed has a certain probability that can be summarized using a curve. So if we have a deviation of 0, the shape of the distribution equals a normal distribution. If the deviation is below 0, it means the distribution shows fewer and less extreme values than the normal distribution. The curve may seem to appear flatter at the extremes. Conversely, a deviation of more than 0 means that the curve has more pronounced tails and therefore has more extreme values than the normal distribution. So that is it for today. As you have seen, the distribution of a sample can be described with a variation of parameters to define all aspects of the location and shape of the distribution curve. If there are any additional questions, our team of statisticians is happy to help you out. Leave us a message at statistics@gcp-service.com or leave a comment below. If you are significantly satisfied with the content, make sure to subscribe to not miss the next video.